of sunshine and shades, there was a culture shock just lurking in the night. For my informative speech, I'll be discussing the Charles Manson murders and the effect it left on America. I will be covering the beginning of Charles Manson, the hippie culture, and the family upbringing, the end-ruling of the murders, and the effect on America. Charles Miles Manson was born in 1934 in Cincinnati, Ohio, and was often left with neighbors and family members while his mom went out drinking and having multiple men in and out of his life. They were constantly moving, and Manson was left alone while his mother also had a criminal record of her own. This showed Charles' bad habits along with neglect. Charles Manson wasn't a stranger to criminal acts. From auto theft to armed robberies, he also had many marriages and ended up in Washington to pursue his music career in Scientology. He ultimately found a home in San Francisco to build his cult and start the family, which later ended in the tragic Hollywood murders. Charles Manson was officially sentenced to prison after the murders in 1971 for life. He denied parole several times and showed many signs of no remorse for his heinous acts. He died in 2017 due to cardiac arrest, all the while suffering from colon cancer, but his story lives on without him. Hippie culture in the 60s was a lifestyle and created a heavy influence on America. The hippie movement was created to spread love and peace, not war. This was an unusual movement for America and created a divide and a challenge on the political structure. Their environment was drugs, homelessness, and freedom. This was where Manson brought in his cult in taking from the vulnerable to manipulate and capitalize on the movement. The Manson family was created in San Francisco, where many lost women and men were looking for a place to be free. They were a Roman commune for a while in a school bus and traveled all around the Pacific coast. This led them to an abandoned movie set where they stole from places around to fund the lifestyle. The famous Sharon Tate and 3 others were murdered in her home on August 9, 1969. Sharon Tate was also pregnant with a famous director, Roman Polanski's baby. This was caused by Charles Manson urging the family to go after the previous homeowner, music producer Terry Melcher. It was easy to say that these murders were sloppy and gruesome. The messiness was intended to make a statement, some reading Pig and Helter Skelter, which was heavily influenced by the Beatles, and which he thought was a song about the race war. To create a shock factor in America where his dream came true, he became famous. Charles Manson was then sentenced to death, but with the law changing in California, it became life in prison along with 4 other family members who were part of the murders, which was Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, Leslie Van Houten, and Charles Watson. This trial took several months to evaluate every aspect of the murders and what each person did. America was stunned but interested in the trials. They haven't seen anything like this, especially with well-known celebrities. The eeriness of the X on his forehead and the attention he loved to receive from this all-scared America to its core. Although America was fearful of the man, he got what he wanted, which was people to talk about him. With 25 movies and several books, my personal favorite being Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Charles Manson is still a conversation today. His cult following and the fear of America are what drove him to his idea of success. These are my 4 references.